Plants, plants share with animals the problems of obtaining water, but unlike in animals, the loss of water in plants is crucial to create a driving force to move nutrients from the soil to tissues. Certain plants have involved methods of water conservation. So, plants share with animals the problems of obtaining water. But sa plants is grabe siya ka crucial because diri sila nagakuha og nutrients to survive every day. So these are the example of plants. We have xerophyte, are plants that can survive in dry habitats such as deserts and are able to withstand prolonged periods of water shortage. So mo ni siya ang Cistus albidus nga plants which makasurvive siya sa mga desert, mga init and without always kanang kuan bitaw og water prolonged periods of water shortage. The second one is the hydrophytes, are plants in water habitats such as water lily and kangkong. They mostly grow in water or in wet or damp places. In these plants, the water absorption occurs through the whole surface of the plant. So, hydrophyte is example as the water lily and the kangkong in Bisaya. Di ba nag-grow sila sa mga watery, especially ang water lily nga grabe makita siya sa sapa, nakita ta nga na-grow nga plants nga white because kuan siya sa water and kabantay mo na if ang water lily is kanang butang sa kilid-kilid, di ba malaya siya because wala na siya na kuan sa water, like dili sila mabuhi without water. Ang hydrophytes is are plants nga ma-absorption siya occurs the whole surface of plant, di ba? Whole surface sa water lily and kangkong is water.
Stop.
So the next is the halophyte, like mangroves and nipa palm are plants living in marshy areas or close to sea. They have to absorb water from such a soil which has higher salt concentration and therefore lower water potential or higher osmotic pressure. So, ang common ani is ang nipa palm, di maka-observe ka nga dapit sila sa mga sea, sa mga subar or something. Para like ma-absorb sila of soil which a higher salt concentration and therefore lower water potential. So that's why close to sea ang ilang kuan because nadra ilang need nga i-absorb na soil in order nga mabuhi sila. The next one is the mesophyte. Like most typical garden plants or sunflowers and daisies are plants living in lands of temperate zone which grow in well-watered soil. They can easily compensate the water loss by transpiration through absorbing water from the soil. So, example ani is the sunflower and daisies. Diba like nagagrow sila sa kanang nagagrow sila sa temperate zone, well-watered soil. They can easily mubo na sila and they can easily absorb water from the soil. Absorbing water from the soil. So, osmosis in animals. Osmoregulation is the process of maintaining the salt and water balance or osmotic balance across membranes within the body of an animal. The fluids inside and surrounding cells are composed of water, electrolytes, and non-electrolytes. So, osmoregulation is mag-maintain the salt and water balance sa animals within the body. And the fluids inside are surrounding cells that compose water, electrolytes, and non-electrolytes. So, these are the importance of osmoregulation. We have hypertonic solution, which the solution outside of the cell is more concentrated than the inside of the cell. Water will move out of the cell by osmosis, causing it to shrink. So, muna siya ang nag-focus siya sa outside cell nga mas more concentrated siya than sa inside of the cell. While the second one is the isotonic solution. The solution inside the cell has the same concentration as the outside of the cell. Water will move in and out of the cell at an equal rate. So, like equal siya sa inside and outside. Inside and outside, same concentration lang sila duha. While the last one is the hypotonic solution. The solution outside of the cell has a lower concentration than the inside of the cell. Water will move into the cell by osmosis, sometimes causing it to burst. So, sa outside cell is mas lower concentration than the inside of the cell. Muna siya ang difference sa hypertonic, isotonic, and hypotonic solutions. Ay, dili, i-edit naman siya ka ng siya mag-edit bawal kami nag-discuss. Ibalay mo na siya, po, sabi ka nag-story mo. So, these are the example of the fresh water, these are the example fish nga nag-surround sila sa water or salt. Positive. So, the first one is a freshwater fish. The gills actively uptake salt from the environment by the use of mitochondria or rich cells. Water will diffuse into the fish, so it excretes a very hypotonic or dilute urine to expel all the excess water. So, this is the example sa hypertonic solution, which is outside the cell is more concentrated siya, and then the inside of the cell and then so the first one is the freshwater fish. The gills actively uptake salt from the environment by the use of mitochondria rich cells. Water will diffuse into the fish, so it excretes a very hypotonic dilute urine, expelled all the excess water. So this is an example of hypertonic solution, because solution outside of the cell is more concentrated. That's why it will cause to shrink, which is ma-expel niya ang tanan excess water. And the second one is the marine fish. Has an internal osmotic concentration lower than that of the surrounding seawater. So it tends to lose water and gain salt. It actively excretes salt out from the gills. So this is an example of hypotonic solution. It's because the outside cell has a lower surrounding seawater, which is the hypotonic, diba? Na siya lower concentration. Diba na siya lower concentration. Gipos na ni mo dong. Ayos sa dong.
Wala mo gipos. Bangka mo gipos.
So the second one is the marine fish. Has an internal osmotic concentration lower than that of the surrounding seawater. So it tends to lose water and gain salt. It actively excretes salt from the gills. So this is an example of hypotonic solution because it has a lower concentration than the inside of the cell. And move it to cell, something causes it to burst. So it actively excretes salt out from the gills. So that is example of hypotonic solution. Kaya ang hypotonic, di ba, na siya lower concentration. Para sa marine fish, na siya lower than that of the surrounding seawater. From the word lower, kuan gyud siya, example gyud siya about sa hypotonic solution. So we have stenohaline. They are restricted to either salt or fresh water and cannot survive in water with a different salt concentration than they are adapted to. So that is an example of isotonic solution, because isotonic solution has a same concentration inside and outside the cell, and water will move in and out of the cell at an equal rate. So since ang stenohaline is kanang restricted to either salt or fresh water, so it means nga like dapat equal reading outside and inside nga ilang outside and inside So we have stenohaline. They are restricted to either salt or fresh water and cannot survive in water with a different salt concentration than they are adapted to. So it's an example of isotonic solution because it has a same concentration inside and outside of the cell. And kay ang stenohaline dili siya makasurvive with a different salt concentration, dapat same ra gid. So naay kuan two kinds of stenohaline. Stenohaline that absorbs water through skin and loses water through skin. Muna siya ang graph, guys. Nakita ra niyo diri. So the last one is the euryhaline species. Show ability to effectively osmoregulate across a broad range of salinities. Flounder have been observed to inhabit two disparate environments, marine and fresh water, and it is inherent to adapt to both by bringing in behavioral and psychological modification. So this is also an example of isotonic solution. It was a baby. So this is also an example of isotonic solution because it surely have been observed in habit to disparate concentration. No, spring. It was a baby. So euryhaline is an example of isotonic solution. Otro. So euryhaline species is an example of isotonic solution.